Okay, good morning. So let us solve these three problems. This 13, 14, and the last part of 15, and then we go to the new lesson. So because Pendeltalk has problems, so you start working, and then so that hopefully people can arrive. Yes, everything is probably visible. So what is this? Okay, please do not waste the time. Solve these two, 13, 14, 15, the last part. And then we start a new lesson. Okay, how is it going? At least, hopefully, the first two, you don't have that much problems, yes? So let us do it together. If you have already done that, you don't need to listen to me, you can continue. And it is also very good to have your laptops in front of you. To check, instead of checking the answer in the faucet, it is also good to be able to check it on GeoGebra. I want you to learn that. It is extremely important. Okay, so for this one, I have to do the same thing, but this is a little bit lengthier because we have three terms here. But the idea is clear. So I take this one, multiplied here, and multiplied there. And then I will take this one, multiplied here, there, and finally here. And then we simplify if we need simplification. So this becomes equal to 4x times 5y is 20xy, yes? And 4x times 2 is plus 8x. And 4x times minus x is minus 4x squared. Yes? And when this is finished, I go to the next one. Plus 3y times plus 5y, it becomes plus 15y squared. And then this one multiplied by that is plus 6y, and this one multiplied by that minus 3yx or 3xy. It doesn't matter. Yes? So this is multiplication part. But then I need to find the similar terms. Here we have this one and the last one. They are similar. Is there any other similar term? No. Yes? So these are the only ones. So then I just continue one more step. So I have 20xy minus 3xy, which is what? 17xy. And then I can copy and paste the rest. Okay, this is enough to stop here. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, it's also good to review how we can do this in GeoGebra. So do you remember what we are supposed to do if we want to do it in GeoGebra? Yeah, you can choose the cast view, I think. For algebraic calculations, the cast view is better. So I choose the cast view. I don't need graphics, so I will take it off. I also don't need algebra there. So here, to do this, this is called expand. If you have the English version installed, I'm using the English words. If you have installed the Swedish word, then of course, I don't know. How do you say expand in Swedish? So it might be, anyway, you can find it yourself. So I just go to expand and then type that expression in. So, and be careful, one thing is very strange in GeoGebra. Let me go back to the board. So if you want to type this in, don't type 20xy. You have to put dot between x and y. If you just put xy, GeoGebra thinks there is one single variable which is called xy. Takes xy as one single entity. But this is not what we mean here. We mean 20 x, y, three things multiplied. So in that case, for numbers, you don't need to put the dot. But for letters, if you have separate letters, you have to put dots. Of course, here we don't need to type that one. We want to just to type this one, so I don't need to put dots because this is between variables and numbers. So I will go here. I will ask GeoGebra, and GeoGebra automatically simplifies by expansion. So it becomes, I open a pair of brackets. Inside the pair of brackets, I put 4x. Can you see that? I don't know why. So I will fix it from next time, okay? So 4x plus 3y. I have 3 y's. And then after that, I have 5y. Yes, and then I have plus 2 and minus 3x. No, minus x. Okay, so yes, I hope that I press enter and this is what you get. Yes? Okay, and I could see that GeoGebra will give it in this order. Let me also explain why. First of all, I hope that you agree our answer is the same. Yes? But the reason that GeoGebra arranged the terms in that way, it's also good to know about it. GeoGebra by default arrange it in a standard form in letter X. What do I mean by a standard form? It starts writing the term with the highest power for X. Okay, so GeoGebra, so you don't need to change it, but I'm just trying to understand. So the power of X is 1, the power of X is 1, the power of X is 2, so the power of X is 0, the power of X is 0. So GeoGebra actually writes the highest power of X first. Okay, and then I have power 1 of X. Power 1 of X appears here and here. But because here I have another letter Y, in total, I have one power of 1 here and I have a power of 1 here. So this has a higher power in total than this one, even though both of them have the same power of 1 for X. So GeoGebra write this one first, and that one later, if I am right. Yes, is it doing this? Yes. And then 2 terms are left without any excess. Okay, but which one we write first again? Because this one has a higher power than that one, GeoGebra writes that one first, then this one second. This is not in your book, but this is called the standard expansion in X. You can do the standard expansion in Y, but if you don't express it, so GeoGebra always take standard by X. But this is not a have to. You can just simply stop there, and that's correct. But I want you to understand that these are the same, yes? You see minus 4x squared is written here, 17xy means plus 17xy is written here. This is not compulsory, so I just put it there. It is extremely important to familiarize yourself with GeoGebra, okay? Okay, so now let us go to the next question. The next question is also simple, hopefully, but the only difference is that you have fractions involved. So let me just review the rule. If I have a fraction, do you remember? A over B, and I want to multiply it by C over D, what is the rule? Yes, do you remember? The rule is to multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. And of course, you can simplify. Do you remember? You can simplify in that way. If there is a common factor, you can simplify in that way. And then also you can simplify in cross-mannered way. But for these simple ones, you don't need to be worried. You can just multiply. And one more thing that I want to say, if you have one number and then multiply it by a fraction, so I have seen some students make this mistake, multiply this here and there, or sometimes multiply this in the denominator. But A means what? A means A over 1, multiplied by C over D. So there is no matter of confusion. You multiply exactly the same rule, and then you multiply these. But of course, 1 times D is just simply D. I don't want you to write so many things, but I want you to immediately, if you have a number multiplied by a fraction, that number is only multiplied in the numerator, but not denominator. Yes?
This is a question that has something to do with the test.
Yes? I told you that I have to do it on weekend. Yes, because I have 5 exams to correct. Yes, and Math 4 is 60 pages, 60 papers. It's a lot of questions, so it is. I have to correct. I will hopefully first I will prioritize yours, because first of all you were the first exam, and the secondly we have to finalize this. I will do it on weekend, and I will announce it. Okay, so let us continue here now. So can you tell me what to do now? So I will take this term, multiply it here, as before, you know, there is nothing new here. And then I will take this one and multiply it here and there. So x over 2 multiplied by x over 5. So what is the answer? What's the answer? X squared over 10. X, exactly according to that rule, because x will be multiplied by x, it gives me x squared. 2 will be multiplied by 5, it gives me 10. So that's good. The rest of it, I do it in my head. So what's the answer? X will be multiplied by y, so it becomes xy, and 2 will be multiplied by 3, it becomes 6. And then this one will be multiplied here, so it becomes yx over 15. And the next one is y squared over 9. Do you think it's enough the story, or we can continue? Why?
Because xy.
xy and yx are the same. How should I continue? So let me write this down here, okay, by a different color. I want you to understand that if I give you 2x, so let us go to a scratch paper. If I give you 2xy, and then I ask you add 3xy to it, you immediately answer 5xy. But if you really analyze what is going in your brain, you realize that xy is the same. In your head, what do? You add 2 and 3 together, and because this is so simple, you don't write this down, you do that part in your head and find 5xy. This is the same story, because when you say x over 6 plus xy over 6, xy over 15, you want to do the same thing, but because these are fractions, we cannot do it as quick as before, so we have actually to do it a little bit patiently. So, but before that, you have to interpret this. So, if I ask you what is the coefficient here, you will tell me 2. If I ask you what is the coefficient is the number that is multiplied. So you will tell me 3. But let me ask you the same question here. What is the coefficient in this term? What is the coefficient? Here. The coefficient is the number that is multiplied by the letters. What? So what's the coefficient? Yes?
You mean the smallest?
No, that is LCD. No, the coefficient is the number that is multiplied to letters. If I ask you what the coefficient is here, you will tell me 2. Why? Because 2 is the number which is multiplied by the letter part. If I ask you what's the coefficient here, you will tell me 3, because 3 is a number which is multiplied by the letter part. My question is that what is the coefficient here? In other words, I'm asking, what is the number which is being multiplied by the letter part?
1.
No. That's what happens to 6. So that's also important to realize. If I ask you x over 2, another way of x over 2, can you tell me? This is a division form. Can you write this as a multiplication?
Yes.
How?
X.
Yes, x times 1/2, but usually we put 1/2 first and times x. So x over 2 means the same thing as 1 over 2 times x. So if I ask you what is the coefficient here, now can you answer? What is the coefficient? 1 over 2. Coefficient is the number that is multiplied by the letter part. Okay, so now if I ask you what is the coefficient here, in principle, you should write it in your head like this. 1 over 6 times xy. And xy over 15 means 1 over 15 times xy. Yes? So let me ask you again. So what is the coefficient here, everyone? 1 over 6. What's the coefficient here? 1 over 15. So I want to do the same thing as I did before. The previous problem was so simple. I could do this in my head immediately and I answered 5. Here, the coefficients are not that simple that I can do it in my head, but I will use the same method, meaning I put xy here, and what do? I add the coefficients. Okay, so let me wait here. Do you understand what I'm doing? I don't want you to write so many things, but I'm describing it once so that you understand what is going on. If you are quick and good with numbers, you can do whatever you want in your head and write the answer, and that is better. But if you can't, you go to a scratch paper. This is what you have to follow. Is that clear? So if I ask you, am I doing something new? I hope that you understand what I am doing here is exactly what I did there. But this one was so simple. I did that part in my head. This is not simple. I have to write to understand what to do. Yes? Okay, now what you, Nicole, said for LCD and whatever is relevant here. So again, I want to calculate 1 over 6 plus 1 over 15. Then I need to find the common denominator. Okay, can you tell me what is the smallest number that these two numbers are divisible? That number is divisible by these two numbers simultaneously. There are many numbers, but the smallest one, yes? No, 3 is the other way. 3 is the biggest number that 6 and 15 are divisible by. 30. 30 is the smallest number that 6 and 15 are, 30 is the smallest number that is divisible by 6 and 15 simultaneously. So I write a 30 here, I write another 30 here. So 6 has turned to 30 by multiplying by what? 5. When I multiply 6 by 5, I also have to multiply this by 5, so it becomes 5. In other words, 5 over 30 is another name for 1 over 6. Okay, now again, 15 has turned into 30 by being multiplied by 2, so I have to multiply this by 2 as well. And then what do you see? You can see that 5 plus 2 is 7, so let me write it here. So it becomes 7 over 30. So I would write 7 over 30 xy. Yes? So that is the answer. So these two are similar. I can write it as this. x2 over 10. And then these two, it becomes 7 over 30 xy. And then this becomes 1 y squared over 9. Okay, this is one way of writing. Might be, I don't know, might be some of you in the exam write like that. Do you think that is also correct? Yes, do you agree that this is the same thing? Or might be you prefer to write it in that way? It doesn't matter. All of them are the same thing. Do you agree that this can also be written like this? Yes, because of what I told you. So you see, 7 over 30 multiplied by xy can be imagined as 7 over 30 multiplied by xy over 1. And then 7 will be multiplied here, and 30 will be multiplied here. So I want you to see, I don't want to spend so much time to write those things. I want you to have this feeling by looking at this and this, you immediately understand that they are the same. Yes? Is that clear? Or do you want to still on it?
No.
Yes, this is not the way that you are supposed to sit down. Okay, is that clear? Okay, let us see what GeoGebra provides us. I will also use expand as expression. So I have a pair of brackets, and then I have x over 2, and then I go plus y over 3, and then go here x over 5, and then I have plus y over 3. So I don't know how GeoGebra will write this. Okay, so GeoGebra, I would guess. GeoGebra writes as coefficient, the standard way. So this is exactly the way that GeoGebra answers the question. Yes, is that clear? Okay, so now, so you see that usually this is a better way, because if I ask you read the coefficients, how many terms, let us review these terminologies. How many terms are involved in the answer? 3. What is the degree of the first term? I want you to know this word. When they say degree, they mean the highest power, okay? So what's the degree of this one? 2. What is the degree of the middle one?
1.
With respect to x1, with respect to y, 1. But if I just say degree, you add these two numbers. 1 for x, 1 for y, in total 2. So again, the degree of the middle term is 1 with respect to x, is 1 with respect to y. If I just say what the degree is, I mean in total, which is again 2. And the last term is also 2. The coefficients. What is the coefficient of the first term? 1/10. What is the coefficient of the second term? 7 over 30. And what is the coefficient of the last term? 1 over 9. Yes, these are the terminologies I want you to remember. Okay, so now let us go to a different problem. This problem is not simplification. If you read the problem, it is asking you to solve the equation. Okay? So we want to solve that. So how should we do this? Here, what is your suggestion? If I want to solve this equation, I have to expand and simplify and then solve the problem. So the first thing comes to mind is to take this term and multiply it here and there for the left-hand side. And then do them in parallel, okay? As if you have two problems. This is one problem, but as if you have two problems. I multiply this in here, what the answer is, and then don't write equality, be careful. Either you have to write this symbol, or if you don't want, just write them vertically. Okay? So what should I write here? R times this. So R will be multiplied here, so it becomes 3R. And then this becomes 8. And then I multiply this there. Okay? So you can multiply and then simplify. But I want you to understand, I want to multiply R over 2 by 4R. Of course, I know that this is negative 4R, so let me put the minus sign here, don't miss it. Okay, you can multiply these two. Some of you prefer to do it, but don't learn that, because in Math 3C you will be in trouble. So some of you want to multiply this by that, so it becomes 4R squared over 2. That's correct. But then you simplify, which is 2R squared. And simplification is very important. But if I want to do it myself, I told you here, so when you want to multiply, you can simplify in vertical manner. You can also simplify in cross manner. What do I mean by cross manner? It means that you can simplify the numerator of one of them with the denominator of the other one, and vice versa. Okay? So this is why when I want to see this in my head, I put a 1 below it. Then I can simplify this 2 with that 4 there. So it becomes 1 times, and this becomes 2 times. And then I simply 1 by 1 is 1, so I don't write it. And then R times 2R is 2R squared. Even though this is a simple problem, but if you get used to this way, you will be in trouble in Math 3C. Anyway, we do it, and the answer becomes 2R squared. Okay, so let me put this in a scratch. So far, so understandable here? Yes or no? Okay, so then we go here. So here I have equality sign. So I am putting this equality sign here. And then ignore the left side, try to do the same thing as we did there for this one, as if it's a new problem. So you multiply this here. R will be multiplied by 1. 4 will be multiplied by 2. And then I take this one and multiply it here. Can you do it in your head according to what I told you? First of all, the sign is negative or positive? I want to multiply this here. Positive or negative? Negative, because this one is positive, that one is negative. When I multiply, it becomes negative. Okay, now what happens? Can you do it in your head?
4r squared. No.
Not 4. This 4, so again, go scratch word, r over 4, and then you have 8r. But when I say 8r, it means 8r over 1. I cannot simplify vertically. Nothing is here. I can simplify. Nothing can be simplified. Nothing can be simplified. But here I can simplify. 4 to 4 1 times. 8 to 4 2 times. But 1 times 1 is 1. R times 2r is 2r squared. But 2r squared over 1 is the same as 2r squared. Yes? Now that is finished, I go back here. This is minus, this is plus. When I multiply them, it becomes negative. 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. What the answer is? 1 over 4. The next one is minus, minus. If I multiply them, definitely it becomes positive. Okay, 1 over 2 is multiplied by 8r. What is the answer? Yes? Okay, 8r over 2. I want the simplified version. Yes? 4. So this is very important, by the way. This simplification is very important. Okay, but now do you remember in Math 3C, Math 1C, I told you that if you have an equation contains a fraction, it is better to get rid of fraction immediately by multiplying both sides by the same number that allows us to get rid of the fractions. And then you need to ask yourself, how many denominators I have? 1, which is the same, and 4. So which number is suitable here? 8. I have to multiply both sides by 8. Yes? But then in Math 1C we wrote it, try to not write everything down. So try to have it in your head, multiply everything by 8. When I multiply this by 8, what happens? Of course it becomes 24r over 8. But 24r over 8 is 3r. So be careful. When I tell you multiply this, don't bother to multiply because this 8 and that 8 are gone. So the answer is simply 3r. So if I multiply this by 8, it becomes 3r. If I multiply this by 8, it becomes 16. Minus 16r squared. And then equality sign. I multiply this by 8 is r. I multiply this by 8 minus 16r squared. I multiply this by 8 negative what? 2. Everyone understands or Hasbullah is only answering? Are you awake or not? 8 by 4, what? 32r. Okay, so I have an equation without fractions. Working with fractions for our brain is hard, so we get rid of the fractions. And then I have the unknown r. Do you remember? I have to move all r's to one side, all known ones to the other side. So 3r is already there. Minus 16r squared is already there. I move this r to the left, it becomes minus r. And then I move this one to the other side, it becomes plus 16r squared. I move this to the left side, minus 32r. And then on the right hand side, I have just one single number, minus 2 left. And then what happens? You see this and that are cancelled because they are similar, but also opposite. And then I have a 3r here. Minus r is 2r. And minus 32r becomes what? What? No. Negative 30r. Yes? On the right hand side, I have minus 2. And I want to isolate r. So I divide by minus 30. But then you shouldn't write it like this. What's the answer? Minus minus is positive. 2 and 30 are simplified. The answer is 1 over 50. which was not easy to guess at all. So, but if I ask you what is the meaning of this number that you found, do you remember the words for this? One of them is called a solution. Or what was the other word I told you I wanted to know? A root. So that's the root of this equation. It means what? It means that this one is the only number, so that if I replace r with that number, the left-hand side and the right-hand side become the same number. Okay? Is that clear? Okay. So that's also one problem, and I want to think you, did you think about this or not? Would you solve it? I think that was the hardest one. I don't know. Let us try to do it. But do you remember what I told you? In the book, they are putting box, 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 but it doesn't mean that the boxes have to be the same. So, in order not to get confused, so let me give the numbers to the boxes, yes? So let me give this one number 1, this one number 2, and this one number 3. And then I start multiplying. This x will be multiplied by box number 2, and this x will be multiplied by box number 3, and then this box minus box number 1 will be multiplied by box number 2. So it's nothing actually helping us. We have to solve it like a puzzle. So be careful. When I put something in box 2, this box 2 should also be the same, because these are the same boxes. And then I want to compare this one with that one. I don't know. Do you have any idea what to do? Yes, try to guess. I cannot tell you what to do exactly.
I think
Let us give the chance to learn on this time, yes? Do you have the numbers?
Yeah.
So for example, how did you think about the problem?
I thought, first of all, just I need some kind of 3x for the...
Yes, yes.
And then...
But you have also a negative, okay, yes.
Yeah, and then like 4 times 3 is 12, or 6 times 2 is 12.
Ah, okay. So you'll go to a scratch work. So instead of 12, you are thinking about 2 type of numbers, 3 and 4,
Yeah.
or 2 and 6, or might be, I don't know, 1 and 12. So you need to consider all cases somehow.
And I just tried some in the box, and I got x minus 4.
Which one you are taking?
3 and 4.
Okay, so you are saying this one is correct. Okay, then?
X minus 4, and then minus 3x plus 3.
So here I should put minus 4
In the first, yeah.
in the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, then?
No, not minus 4.
Okay, so 4?
Or x minus there up in the top. I'm looking at the top.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it means that, what do you put here?
4.
4. So it means box 1 is 4, what you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are saying that let us put 4 there. Okay, other boxes.
Second box is minus 3x.
Here you want to put minus 3x. So it means box number 2 is minus 3x. What is, yes?
Plus 3.
This is plus 3. Okay, let us stop to see. If it works, then that's correct. And then automatically I can find this one, which I call box number 4. So if I ask you what this is minus 3x squared. And do I need it? Yes. Good. So far, so good. But this part, this becomes 3x positive. This becomes positive or negative? Positive. Positive 12x, which becomes what? 15x. But I am not sure that this is correct unless I check the last one, because this middle one is absent. Okay? So is the last one also correct? Yes, this becomes exactly minus 12. So what Lennon actually wrote is correct, because it generates the first term as the problem wants. It generates the last term as the problem wants. So that's the correct answer. And then this one should also, everything is correct. Thank you. So yeah, that is just a game, you know. So what I put in 1, according to Lennon, I put 4 there. And then I put minus 3x here, and then I put 3 there, and then I realize what should I put here? 15x. Yes, thank you very much. And these problems doesn't have a good method to think about. You can analyze it and then find the answer. Okay, any questions? Okay, I would recommend, I want to not to teach the new lesson. I want to give you a little bit harder problems to simplify this, because simplification in algebra is extremely important. Okay, so I will write some ones and wait for you, okay? And then we do it step by step. And by the way, before going forward, I want you to review how we can solve equations using GeoGebra. How should we do that? Do you remember? What should we do? If I want to solve an equation using GeoGebra, again, I go to CAS view, but I start typing solve with capital S. And then you see I have a lot of options here. Solve equation in X. So don't use it because my equation is in R. So you go to equation and variable. Okay? So then you introduce what is the variable. So I choose this one. And I type that equation there. So I would write R over 2. And then I open a pair of brackets. Ahmed, you are sleepy. Can you read this for me so that you are not sleepy now? Can you read the equation?
14.
Yes.
R over 2.
R over 2 times?
Times, in brackets,
yes.
3 over 4.
What? 3 over 4?
Yes, minus 4R.
Minus 4R.
And brackets.
And is equal to, yes?
Is equal to.
Another bracket.
Bracket R over 4.
R over 4.
Minus 1 over 2.
Minus 1 over 2.
End bracket, open brackets.
And okay, good.
1 over 2.
1 over 2.
Minus 8R.
Minus 8R.
End bracket.
Okay. Okay. And then what is my variable here?
R.
R. I hope that we haven't done any mistake. It's very important, instead of going and check the faucet, check your answer with GeoGebra. And the answer is 1 over 15. So our calculations are correct. So this is important. Remember, 2 words, expand and solve, we learned today. Okay, so I will try to write some problems on the board, and then we can do that together later. Okay, I want to choose a little bit hard ones, because algebra is extremely important. I would say expand and simplify, yes? So, example. So, I would write important. It means that this will be important for the exam. Expand and simplify. So, it is very important to have a different notebook, and then I want you to have at least 2 colors. When I write important, write it with red or a different color. So, when you're in the exam, you want to review, make life easier, more comfortable for you. So expand. By the way, this I put in a pair of brackets because in mathematics, whenever you can simplify, you simplify, even if it is not mentioned. So expand and simplify. Sometimes I just write expand. It means expand and simplify. So number 1. I'll start with a little bit simple one, and then I increase the level, okay? I will write some for you here. So a minus 2b, a squared plus 2ab plus 4b squared. Number 2. So you can start. You don't need to wait for me. And it is better to check with GeoGebra. If the answer is not correct, redo it. These questions are not hard, but you have to be patient not to make mistakes. I really hope that most of you could solve the problem. The first one is quite easy. It's not hard at all. So what I will do, I will take this one, multiply it with these, and then take this one, and then simplify. So let me write the answers here. So number one. So the first one, if you want, I can show it, but I hope that you really understand that. Anyway, but I will take this A, multiply here, here, and there. So it's very easy. What's the answer? So I put equality. A cubed plus 2a squared b. Yes, I multiply this here, and then I multiply this there. It becomes plus 4ab squared. Yes? And then when it is finished, I take the second one, but be careful. The second one is negative. So this becomes minus 2ba squared. And then this one here, it becomes minus 4cab, but of course I would write minus 4ab squared. And finally, this one multiplied there, it gives me minus 8b cubed. Yes? But I hope you can see that immediately this one and that one are similar, because this is a squared b, that is also a squared b, written in different order. And one of them is positive, the other one is negative, so they are gone. And the same story happens here. These are similar, but opposite, so they are also gone. This cannot be simplified more than that, so the correct answer that hopefully all of you, this is not a hard question at all of you have got is this one. Yes, how many of you got this right? Okay, the people who didn't get this right, they need to teach themselves. I cannot teach you as a teacher. My role is just to draw your attention, to make you aware of your weakness so that you can fix it. I will not be able to fix it. Okay, so number two. So number two is a little bit more tricky. This is the reason I gave it. I hope that you are not messing up with the minus sign. So here, what if I want to do it, not very quickly, patiently, I put equality sign. I have nothing to do with this one, but I want you to know that this has the priority. Why? Because this is subtraction, that's subtraction, this is multiplication. The multiplication should be done first. So I will copy and paste the first one. Yes. I recommend you don't be in a hurry. So I put a minus sign and I open a bigger pair of brackets. My goal is to write this answer within this pair of brackets. Might be I have to go a little bit farther here. And then I put this minus 7b cubed there. Okay? So what I want to write here is the product. So you see, you just think this very similar to the previous problem. Do it again. So 3a, don't think about this minus sign. I keep it here. 3a times that one is 27a cubed. This one times that one is 3ab squared. And then this one times that one is 9a squared b, yes? And then I go to the next. Minus 9ba squared. And then minus b cubed. And finally, minus 3ab squared. By the way, if you're lazy, you don't need to write everything again. I prefer, you can open the pair of brackets right away, but I would prefer to simplify and then open the pair of brackets. Can I simplify? Do you see something here? Yes. For example, this one and the very last one are not only similar, but they are also opposite, so they are gone. And then, do you see that the same story happens here? because this is 9a squared b, this is 9ba squared, they are the same. That's also gone. Now everything is ready to open the pair of brackets. So what I will do, I will copy and paste the first one. But when I open this pair of brackets, this minus sign behind the pair of brackets is not only for the first one, for all the terms involved inside the pair of brackets. So which is this one in this case and this one. So it becomes negative 27a cubed. The second one itself is negative, but because of this negative sign, it becomes positive. And then I have minus 7b cubed at the very end. And now what happens, you see, this one and this one are gone now. And these are also similar. What is the answer? Minus 6b cubed. So how many of you got this right? Okay, so good. Yes, very good. For the next one, number 2. So what do you want to do? Yeah, this is a simple, but I just want to make sure that you understand. It doesn't matter if I put A on the right or on the left. Okay, you can do this in 2 steps. You can multiply 2 first, and then multiply by A. So let me teach you here. So if you have 2A minus B, and then you have A, you can multiply 2 in first, and then multiply A in. But I don't want you to waste so much time. You can simultaneously multiply them in. Okay? It is faster. So what we do here, I multiply 2 from the left and A from the right. So this becomes 2A, and this A will go there. It becomes what? So number 3, it becomes 2A squared. The middle one here, the next one, 2 goes from the left, A goes from the right. So it becomes minus 2BA. Okay, for this one, you have to be a little bit more careful. So I put minus. I open a pair of brackets, and I write the answer here inside the pair of brackets. Again, 3 goes from the left, B goes from the right. So it becomes 3AB. And the next one becomes 3b minus 3b squared. So you see, I have kept this minus sign here. Don't get confused. I am just taking 3 and b in. That's the answer. And then I have 5ab. Now I open the last pair of brackets. So it becomes 2a squared minus 2ba. Minus sign is not only for this one, but also for the next one. So it becomes minus 3ab plus 3b squared plus 5ab. Okay? And as I told you, usually these exercises you can simplify a lot. And then this one here, and that one here, and that one are similar. But what is the answer? I have minus 2ab. Minus 3ab is minus 5ab, and that's a plus 5ab. So they are completely gone. So what is left is just 2a squared plus 3b squared. And that is, I cannot continue further. So how many of you got this right? So this is 2a squared plus 3b squared. How many of you got this right? Okay, the people who didn't, you need to teach yourself what was your problem that you couldn't solve this, and fix that problem in your brain. We have a little bit of time, yes. So the next one, the reason that I told you here, the next lesson I will teach you how to do this faster, but in this lesson there is only one way to do it, is to calculate this one and this one. Okay, so how should I do that? We had this also in Math 1C, if you remember. So what I will do, I will write the meaning of this. When you say something to power 2 means what? Yes?
Both numbers inside the brackets to power 2.
No. That's a very common mistake. Don't invent the rules, okay? So you are thinking in that way. You see, if I give you a plus b, it is important to write. Please write it in your notebook, cross it over once for all, because the next lesson is exactly about this. So if you think this is correct, this is not correct. For example, if I take a to be 1 and b to be 2, what is the left-hand side? The left-hand side is 1 plus 2 to the power of 2. What's the answer? What is the answer? Pair of brackets means do this one first, which is 3 to power 2, which is 9. Now the right-hand side is what? 1 to power 2 plus 2 to power 2, which is 1 plus 4, which is 5. So the left-hand side and right-hand side are not equal. So this means that we cannot rely on this formula. The reason that you are confused because there is one similar formula which is correct. And that is what? A multiplied by b to the power of 2. In that case, you are right. This becomes a squared multiplied by b squared. This is true, but not for addition or subtraction. This is only true for multiplication and division. Okay, so this method doesn't work, so what should I do then? How can I do this? How? Yes?
Open up the brackets.
How?
Well, there's a plus behind the left side of the brackets.
So how should I open it?
You just open up to a plus b to the power of 2.
So what do you mean? You mean write it like this? No. Yes? Times 2a plus b, because that's the meaning of something to power 2. Okay? So I would write it as 2a plus b multiplied by another 2a plus b. That is the meaning of power 2. Minus the next one similar. 2a minus b multiplied by 2a minus b. Yes? Okay, so I will do this. So what happens? 2a times 2a, 4a squared. 2a times b is 2ab. b times 2a is 2ab again. And then b is squared. So if you don't mind, let me put a pair of brackets. This is the solution to the first part, even though this pair of bracket is not essential. Yes? What? Why? Ah, here. So let me move this one. Okay. So what happens now? I put a minus sign here, and then I open another pair of brackets, and then I do the same thing here. 2a times 2a is 4a squared. 2 times minus, this is minus 2ab. This is also minus 2ab, but that one minus b times minus b is plus b squared. I prefer to simplify and then continue, okay? So inside this pair of brackets, I see these are similar. So this becomes 4a squared plus 4ab plus b squared. And here I also see they are similar. So it becomes minus 4a squared minus 4ab plus b squared. And now everything is ready to open up the pair of brackets. For this one, I don't need to be careful, because there is nothing behind it. I just remove it. But for the second one, I remove it. But this minus sign is not only for the first one, for all the terms. The first one becomes negative. The second one itself is negative. Because of that one, it becomes positive. The last one is positive. Because of this negative, it becomes negative. And can I go further? Yes, quite a lot, because this one and that one are gone. This one and that one are also gone. Battery is finished, yes? And then 4ab plus 4ab is 8ab. Okay, how many of you got this right? Okay, very good. Okay, so the last one, we will keep it for the next time, yes? It's already time. Okay, thank you very much and have a nice weekend.